I think any of us wanted for Christmas was for Adam to cry on the Twitch stream on Tuesday, and I'm really sad that Santa's not come through on that one. Did you like your present, though?
I love my present. That looked like I was doing something else. I was trying to say, I was pinching my leg as hard as I could to avoid the tears. I love my present. Thank you very much once again. That was very, very kind of you.
You're
Merry
very
Christmas
welcome.
to you too, Tom.
Merry Christmas to you too. Oh, that's fine. We'll send you an invoice for the Crystal Maze token. That's fine.
Much
Here is your wrestling news. AEW wrestlers are yelled at backstage. A top SmackDown star addresses the extra training, and a WWE star has pitched a new tournament. We'll talk about it in a bit. Been some comments this week regarding AEW and their penchant for dives to the outside, and it's something that's come back to bite them in a recent episode of Dynamite. So this comes from Brian Alvarez in the Wrestling Observer. What's the quote that Brian has for us, Adam?
So Brian said, on the same page, if you're going to do dives, and especially in AEW, we've seen so many people crash and burn on these dives because I don't even know why, but it was like a problem. In fact, I know at least some people got yelled at for it after one show, but you've got to catch people. So if you're going to do dives, people have got to catch. So various places are reporting this. And I think making it seem like wrestlers have been yelled at backstage and there's been some sort of big argument because they're doing too many dives and they seem contrived and all that sort of stuff. Whereas my interpretation of this, at least, is that the reason that this yelling has gone on backstage is because people have been diving and they haven't been protected properly. So it's the people who are meant to be catching who have been shouted at, not the fact that they're doing way too many of them, which they definitely are.
And very much as if you were a Pokemon trainer, you've got to catch them all. And I think the reason this comes up in conversation is because of Jim Ross's comments earlier on in the week, where Jim was talking on Grilling JR all about how everybody does the spot where you huddle together, friend and foe, and you end up getting together like oysters or clams or something. He made some sort of animal, vegetable, mineral reference there, and then you catch somebody and it doesn't even finish the match. It barely makes a mark on the match. It just gets a holy S chant. And I think JR very much rallying against that. Brandon Cutler quoting that tweet verbatim as a way to plug what became a 12-man tag, which did make me laugh. Few have agreed with him on that one. Where do you stand on big colossal dives, Adam? Ever done one?
To me, this isn't quite a black and white issue because actually I agree with Jim Ross. We see them far too often and they do seem contrived and they look silly and the camera tries to keep away the whole time, but then you just see everybody it just looks dumb. We've seen them so many times now that it doesn't feel special anymore. It's not even like a thing that we only see on pay-per-view or anything like that. We see them week in, week out, and it's not just AEW who are at fault there, but my opinion is that Jim Ross shouldn't be slagging off his own product. Like he's part of that company, and it just makes life very, very difficult for the performers. And you wouldn't, if you were doing like a TV star, a film star was doing media for an upcoming film. It's like slagging the film off in advance, saying, "Well, I didn't like this bit, but it's good still. It's worth checking out." I feel like, but that's the problem with everybody having like everybody's got a podcast nowadays, and we see it. Jericho slags off the product sometime as well, saying like, generally he's maybe a bit more fair because he'll say, well, I didn't think this worked and it's in the past. But Jim Ross there criticizing something which is ongoing in AEW, I'd be a bit pissed off. But actually, I agree with what he's saying, so maybe that makes me.
So you say less dives in wrestling?
Yeah. They don't feel especially special to me anymore.
I'm going to be contrary. I say more. I think more dives. I think more dives in wrestling. What I like about watching NXT is I know exactly when to go to the toilet because it's just as they're doing a dive to the outside of the ring because they're going to hit the ground and they're going to go, "We'll be back in a minute." I think more TV shows should have dives going into the break. I want to see Chandler diving over the bar at Central Perk to signal friends going to a break. I want to see more dives in normal television shows.
Do you want to name a show that's still being produced, Tom?
Nah. Okay. All right. I tell you what. Tiger King. I want... No, that's not even being produced now either. What new shows are being produced?
Fort Boyard, really? I think, is still on the go.
I want to dive off of the fort. Dive off of the fort.
They do.
Called Boyard. dive off, then you know when to go to the toilet. It's handy for that. I want
Oh my God.
For
Bill Bailey doing a... Yes, please.
I want Bailey diving into the crowd with then Claudia Winkleman going, "We'll be back in a moment." That's what I want. Picking up on something we talked about last week, some of the larger stars in WWE, physically rather than anything else, were encouraged, in some cases, told directly to go to more training at the Performance Center, since Vince McMahon was not a happy camper about some of the conditioning of them. One of those stars that was part of that extra training, allegedly, has spoken out, Adam.
He has. It's a direct quote here, so unfortunately it doesn't seem like anyone can string a sentence together, but I'll read it verbatim. "It's always been there, talking about the training available. It wasn't like we told this and that. The Performance Center is a tool for us to get better. If someone wants to come up to me and work on stuff or vice versa, we're always working. That report was kind of funny. We're never not working, especially not when we don't do live events, so we really can't get our stuff out. It's just bottled inside." We're not getting that stuff out there, so we'll find more and more ways to get in the ring. Nothing beats a crowd, and that's one thing I miss. He's trying to get off the topic here, I think. There hasn't been set dates or anything. It's just when you want to come in. It's always been there. I don't know why it became a big report gimmick. So basically, he's saying that they were told, yeah, you've got to go in and do some more training, but it doesn't sound like they set dates for it. But I don't know if he's underplaying this or not.
It feels like it's being pared down a touch. And I think Otis, being the company man, is saying, "Hey, look, we all do it. It's all fine." But then it's just interesting how it's come to light in the past week. It's something they've always done. Why this week is it being so heavily talked about?
It's true what he's saying.
People that are involved, isn't it? Some of the big names are involved, like Keith Lee, who surely doesn't need more training.
You'd think not. You'd think like, it is true what he's saying in the Performance Center is there, and like main roster superstars go along and train, not just in the gym, but they work out stuff in the ring as well, and they rehearse matches and all that sort of stuff. I remember when I went to film, it was some 2K17, 2K18 or something. Like Finn Balor was there just kicking about, and a few other main roster people were just training. So it's true that they do go there, but the fact that Vince seems to have singled out the big lads and said, you need to go there, does it really matter that he's said, oh, you've got to be there on Thursdays and Sundays? He said you need to go for this training. And that, to me, is the story. And I personally think Otis might be underselling what's happening a little bit.
It's boss time! Not my words, the words of somebody spotting some managerial herb. And the words of Michael Cole when Sasha gets to the ring. Isn't she cool, guys? And she's been chatting away about not just the return of a wrestling pay-per-view, but a wrestling pay-per-view concept that she came up with by herself.
She bloody did. I don't know how she's done this, and I've never heard anyone come out like this idea is so original, so unique. We all know about the King of the Ring tournament, right? But a king is a man. She has replaced the word king with queen, and she's replaced the men in the tournament with women in the tournament to make the Queen of the Ring tour. How's she done that? I've never heard that in my life. Sasha, you are a creative genius. Would you like a job? I'm taking the piss, but it's something that actually I've wanted to see for a long time. And she's pitching it here in an interview on the Prosy Ben Max channel on Instagram. She said, a Queen of the Ring tournament on a whole pay-per-view itself would be really freaking cool. I've been waiting for Evolution 2 for a very long time, so maybe we can do that first, and maybe we can start matches at Evolution 2 for the Queen of the Ring tournament. Maybe something like that can happen. I agree. I mean, Evolution 2 was rumored to be taking place this year. Beth Phoenix earlier in the year tweeted out that essentially we were going to see it in 2020. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I'd love to see a Queen of the Ring tournament. I really would. As long as the winner doesn't actually have to become a queen. And I've just realised, as I said that, they've got a queen in WWE, and her name's Charlotte Flair, and she would probably just bloody win the thing, wouldn't she? As long as Charlotte doesn't win, and as long as the winner... Because sometimes it works with King of the Ring when people dress up as a king, and sometimes it doesn't work when people dress up as a king. I think Baron Corbin is doing his best with it at the moment, but it's not fantastic, is it? And we've passed that. The King of the Ring tournament, to me, should just be about, hey, you can gloat about it and say, hey, I won the King of the Ring tournament. I'm the best damn wrestler in this company. Maybe they get a title shot, whatever. I don't think that they need to be dressing up and cosplaying. Tom, your thoughts?
I think there needs to be some stakes to it. I feel like there was a point when the winner of the King of the Ring for only a couple of years got a WWEF title shot. They got a shot of the big belt. I think that's kind of been replaced by Money in the Bank as that title shot scenario. But I always love King of the Ring. People it's a shame because when you watch tournaments play out on pay-per-view, the crowd reaction to people gets lower each time. You can kind of feel the frustration of it. It's very difficult to book a tournament which keeps people invested all night. Obviously, you can do tournaments over many, many weeks, but a one-night tournament, it's very difficult, I find, to keep people as invested through it. But I love a flipping King of the Ring tournament. If they were to do a Queen of the Ring in January, I'm gonna ask you yours, but I would put, in terms of who would win the whole thing, because it's a great springboard for somebody who you think has got bags of potential. I'd have Shotzi Blackheart win it.
Would you?
Yeah, Shotzi's had an amazing 2020. Either her or Rhea Ripley, or Rhea Ripley possibly. You could even have the story of Charlotte Flair going, I'm going to be the queen. I might actually go for Ripley. Charlotte Flair's going, I want to be the queen, actually be the queen, and then have Charlotte and Ripley meet in the final, and then you have Ripley.
WrestleMania 2, do the match again, Rhea Charlotte, and have Charlotte win again, and everybody goes wild. Come on. I would go for Bianca, personally, because I just really, really like her, and she's very good. She is a queen in the ring. She's great. There you go.
Staying with tournaments, finalement, a classic tournament is making its return on Impact Wrestling, Adam.
I am buzzing about this. Impact Wrestling announcing yesterday that the Super X Cup will return on their January the 9th Genesis show on Impact Plus. We don't know who's in the tournament yet, but it's going to be class. It's the fourth one. They've done one in, let me get this right, 2003, 2005, and I think they did Global Force 2017. Am I right?
That's it. On the money, honey.
There we go. That's the stuff. And so this is the fourth one. It's an 8-man tournament featuring X Division wrestlers from all around the world, at least in the past. I remember seeing one with bloody Johnny Storm on it. I think that was the 2003 one. But they get people in who aren't necessarily Impact contracted talent to do this. So, Tom, who do you want to see in there? Little people from around the world. Who are you going for?
Little people from around the world. Well, the nice thing is you've got this beautiful working relationship that's blossoming with AEW. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the possibilities of maybe getting some people over from Impact Wrestling are pretty strong. So I'd love to see somebody like a Ricky Starks mix it up in that X tournament. I know he's kind of classed as a heavyweight, but he's certainly somebody that you'd love to see as part of that shenanigan. Who else from there?
Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt. 100%.
Oh, of
100%.
course. Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt, put them both in.
Mm-hmm.
Stick them both in there. It's going to be a great spotlight for a lot of wrestlers of sort of the cruiserweight affirmation. But as the nice thing is with the X Division title, it's really for everybody. Obviously, it's got a slant and leans quite heavily on the cruiserweight.
True.
But it could be for anybody, and it's that one thing that Impact /TNA /NWA TNA /GFW /MFI /REM have done so well over their lifetime. It's been their defining championship division. So to see it having a spotlight shined on it once again, I'm really, really happy about.
Agreed. Tom, have a nice rest of the day.
Mate, have a lovely rest of day. Should we do some more news later?
Let's do some news in a few hours, shall we? Give them what they want.
Looking forward to it already. Is it too late to go to cultaholicshop.com in time for Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, you can still buy some stuff.
It'll come, but in a few weeks. Got all sorts. I'm not even wearing one. That's a different. I thought I had one of them. If you want to buy this, you can get it from Tesco.